Okay, good morning. Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, we'll start PDF. Yes, ma'am. Okay, PDF, can everyone see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Wait for 1-2 minutes. For others, 26 are there. Okay, so today this unit will start three-phase induction motor. Okay. Sixth unit today will start, and tomorrow I'll take MCQ questions of all 4 units. Tomorrow CR, you tell me at what time should I take lecture, the missed one, on I think Tuesday. Okay, so we'll start with this unit, sixth one. Okay, so see here, three-phase induction motor. Sixth unit is basically on AC machines. Okay, in fifth unit we learn DC machines. Okay, so in sixth unit we are going to learn AC machines. So in more detail we'll learn three-phase induction motor. Okay, and then single-phase induction motor, and then synchronous generator. Okay, so three-phase induction motor and three-phase induction motor, in this unit we are going to learn in more detail. Okay, like its construction, working principle, types, then whatever the two types is difference, then its applications, then torque derivation, torque slip characteristics, what do you mean by slip, synchronous speed, speed of rotor, its relationship. Then once we derive the torque expression, torque slip characteristics we'll learn. Then later on, power flow diagram of three-phase induction motor. Okay, so power flow diagram, based on power flow diagram numericals are there, and based on synchronous speed, slip, speed of rotor, frequency of induced EMF in rotor. So based on this, another type of numericals are there. Okay, then this is and applications. Whatever the two types of three-phase induction motor, its application we are going to see. Then next to it is single-phase induction motor. So single-phase induction motor, it's not self-starting. How to make it self-starting, then its construction, its types, whatever the types, three types, its circuit diagram, explanation of it, you can say construction and its working in short, and then advantages and disadvantages. Okay, not in detail we are going to learn single phase induction motor, very less contents. Okay, and synchronous generator also, construction and working principle and application. Okay, so three-phase induction motor in more detail, and single-phase induction motor and synchronous generator in brief. Okay, these are the contents of sixth unit. So today we are going to start with three-phase induction motor. Now tell me, as it is a motor, means what is the input? As it is the motor, what is the input? Very good. Input is electrical. Very good. Now it's a three-phase induction motor. Means electrical input is in the form of alternating or direct, AC or DC. AC input. Very good. Okay, it is in the form of AC input. Now it is three-phase or single-phase. Yes, it is three-phase or single-phase. Three-phase induction motor. Very good. So what is the input? It's a three-phase AC electrical input. Very good. Now, as it is a three-phase induction motor, what is its output? What is its output? Output is mechanical. Very good. Those who are answering, very good. Those who are thinking, that are also very good student, and listening lecture, very good student. Okay. So three-phase induction motor means we are going to give three-phase AC electrical input, and this three-phase induction motor, it converts it into mechanical output. Okay. So can everyone see PDF diagram? Can everyone see? Anyone reply? PDF, and all of you can see diagram in that PDF of three-phase induction motor. Image means it's not a diagram, it's an image. Okay, very good. Okay, so see, it's a three-phase induction motor. All of you can see. Now, this one is shaft. All of you know. Okay, what is this? Another one. One is shaft. What is another one? See, I'm going to circle this portion. What is it? Who can tell? What is it? One part of three-phase induction motor I circled. What is it? Yes, what is it? Who can tell? Yes, the highlight one, terminal box. Okay, what is it? It's a terminal box. What is there in the terminal box? Yes, who can tell what is there in terminal box? Who can tell what is there in terminal box? Terminals of windings. During practical, I explained which batch practical I conduct L2 to L2 students. I told you na terminal box where terminals of windings are available. Okay, so whatever this outer one box, all of you can see, it's a terminal box. If you open it, you will find here terminals of windings. Got it? Okay, so whatever the windings are there on stator, if you see construction of three-phase induction motor, three windings are there on stator. These three windings you can connect either in star or in delta. Means if you open this terminal box, you will find six terminals. Three windings are there on stator. Every winding two terminals means total six terminals. So six terminals of three stator windings you will find in terminal box. Using the six terminals, you can connect winding in star or in delta. Got it? Okay, so three windings are there on stator of this three-phase induction motor. These three windings you can connect either in star or in delta with the help of terminals available in terminal box. Its general construction is same. Centrally, it's a shaft. What is wound on shaft? Yes, every machine. What is wound on shaft? What we call it? Any machine, whether it is a motor or generator. Centrally, it's a shaft. What is wound on shaft? Who can tell? Yes, what is wound on shaft? Rotor core. Okay, rotor core is wound on shaft. Then the rotor core is slotted. In the slots, what is there? Yes, what is there in the rotor slots? Windings. Okay, then there is a air gap between stator and rotor. Then stator here also slotted on its inner periphery, and in the stator windings are there. Okay, in general every machine you will find like this: centrally shaft, on it rotor core made up of magnetic material, it is slotted on its outer periphery, windings are there, copper windings. Then air gap is there between stator and rotor. Stator core again made up of magnetic material, it is slotted on its inner periphery, or poles are there physically. Like in DC machines, what we have seen, physically poles are fixed to stator core. But in three-phase induction motor, you will find physically you can't see the poles. Okay, we'll see construction now. See, shaft, then bearings. Okay, end bell means from right and left to cover machine to close it. Okay, so that dust fumes not inside. Stator windings and rotor. Okay, next one slide, in further slides more clear to you. So what is this circular, whatever the portion I circle, what is it? Highlight, whatever the portion I highlight, what is it? Yes, all of you I think can see PDF, right? Whatever the portion I circle over here, what is it? Terminal box. Very good. Okay, so terminal box, all of you can see 6 terminals are there. These are the 6 terminals of which winding? Of stator winding or rotor winding? Yes, these are the 6 terminals of stator winding or rotor windings. Stator windings. Okay, so on stator 3 windings are there. It's 6 terminals. You can see every winding has 2 terminal. Using this 6 terminal, you can connect winding in star or delta. Okay, outer metallic cover, all of you can see at the top terminal box is there. Here see, this one is shaft, this one is end bell. Bearings also you can see here. This is the rotor. 2 types of 3-phase induction motor are there. In both the types, stator construction is same. Different construction is only of rotor. So whatever the rotor, all of you can see here, it's a squirrel cage rotor. And another type is slip ring rotor. You will see the difference. Now stator core, if you observe on stator core, it is slotted on its inner periphery and copper windings are there. Okay, so one winding is called as R phase winding, another one Y phase winding, and the third one is B phase winding. So 3 windings are there with many number of turns. All 3 windings, their resistance, inductance is same. Okay, symmetric windings are they. Okay, means on, you can say, stator winding balance load. Balance load we have seen. Okay, resistance and inductance same. Okay, so here all the 3 windings are identical, which are there on stator, and they are made up of copper. Okay, now next one, see again the same thing. This one is end bell, this one is end bell, then wait a moment, this one is end bell. Okay, then terminal box, here you can see this is the rotor core slotted, in the slots conductors, fan is there on the shaft, bearings are there, fan for cooling purpose, and this is the stator core. Okay, we'll see one by one all the parts. Stator, we'll see about the stator now. See here, whatever the portion I am going to highlight, see magenta color, okay, or purple color, which one is that portion, what you will call it? See, whatever the portion I am going to highlight, what is it? Who can tell what is it? Yes, whatever the portion I highlighted, what is it? Small circle, which is very thin. Yes, what is it? Who can tell? What is it? Air gap. Air gap is there between stator and rotor. Okay, so highlighted portion, it's a air gap. Inside it is a rotor. See, rotor, it is slotted on its outer periphery. Centrally, it's a shaft. This is the rotor core. Then this is the stator core. All of you can see, and stator core is slotted on its inner periphery. Got it? Okay, clear to all of you? So stator core, rotor core, all of you can see, shaft and rotor, all of you can observe it is slotted on its outer periphery. Okay, and stator core, you can see it is slotted on its inner periphery. Now stator core is made up of which material? Yes, stator core made up of which material? Magnetic material. Okay, now this magnetic material, which one is used for stator core in 3-phase induction motor? Silicon steel. Okay, so stator core in 3-phase induction motor is made up of silicon steel. Why silicon steel? Yes, if you are using silicon steel, then which loss will be less? Who can tell? If you are using silicon steel, then which loss will be less? Hysteresis loss. Very good, Nikita. Okay, hysteresis loss will be less. Okay, so and this stator core is made up of silicon steel, so that hysteresis loss will be very less. Then again, it is not solid. It is made up of laminated construction. Now, why laminated construction is used? Who can tell? Stator core made up of silicon steel to reduce hysteresis loss. Stator core is not solid. It is made up of laminated construction. Why laminated construction? To reduce eddy current loss. Very good. Okay, very good, Rohit. So it is made up of laminated construction to reduce eddy current loss. Got it? Clear to all of you? So stator core made up of silicon steel and it is laminated to reduce hysteresis and eddy current loss. Okay. Now it is slotted on its inner periphery. On inner periphery, slots are there. Slots are there. And in the slots, windings are there. 3 windings. They are made up of copper. Okay, 3 windings are there in the stator slots, and these 3 windings are made up of copper. Okay, now you will find in 3-phase induction motor, its stator physically you can't see pole. We have seen DC construction, DC machines, its construction physically poles you can find fixed with nut and bolts on stator core. Okay, whatever is the material of stator core, same is the material of poles. Pole core, pole show, and on the pole core, field windings are wound. Okay, means in DC machines, physically you can see poles. But in 3-phase induction motor, physically you can't see poles. But whatever the 3 windings are there, R phase winding, Y phase winding and B phase winding connected either in star or in delta. So these 3 windings you can design or on stator. You can distribute all these windings on stator in number of slots for 2 number of poles, 4 number of poles, 6, 8 for even number of poles. Okay. Depending on applications, number of poles on stator, for that windings they wound. Clear to all of you? Okay, so once you pass current, any electromagnet, which one logic is used? Take one magnetic material, electromagnet, all of you know, centrally square or rectangular magnetic material on it, one copper coil is wound. Once you pass current through it, if the coil is wound clockwise, then current direction also will be clockwise. Wrap your fingers clockwise, thumb points toward left, means left side pole act as a north pole and right side pole will act as a south pole. Okay, this one principle is used for winding design. Okay, got it? So windings, these 3 windings you can design all over stator. You can distribute them all over stator for 2 pole, 4 pole, 6 pole, 8 poles depending on applications. Clear? Okay, means physically you can't see the poles, but once you pass current through the coils, alternate north and south poles will get produced. Okay, so windings are wound on stator for fixed number of poles. Clear to all of you stator construction? Okay, so stator core made up of silicon steel to reduce hysteresis loss. It is made up of, it is laminated construction to reduce eddy current loss. Physically you can't see poles on stator. Stator is slotted on inner periphery. In the inner periphery, 3 copper windings are there, which you can connect either in star or in delta, and windings are wound or distributed all over stator for fixed number of poles. Clear about stator? Then next about rotor. So again, all of you can see here the same thing. Stator core slotted in the slots, copper windings are there. Okay, next one image also the same thing. See, stator core slotted on inner periphery, copper windings, and here terminal box also you can see. In the terminal box, terminals of 3 windings are there. Clear? Okay, now next one is rotor. We'll see. Now whenever rotor construction, first we'll see 2 types of rotor are there: squirrel cage rotor and phase wound rotor. Okay, so first one is called as squirrel cage type of rotor, first one, and the second one is phase wound or slip ring rotor. Now if you compare, means 2 types of induction motor are there. First one is 3-phase squirrel cage induction motor and the second one is 3-phase phase wound rotor, or it is also called as three-phase slip ring induction motor. Now, if you compare both the induction motor, stator construction is same. Only the difference is in rotor construction. Okay, so what is the difference in both the machines of rotor, that we'll see. First one we'll see squirrel cage rotor. Okay, so squirrel cage rotor, see, it looks like this. See, like this it is. Centrally it's a shaft. Okay, what is this gray color circular thin disc? Who can tell? Gray color circular thin disc is what? What is it? Gray color circular thin disc. What is it? Or what is this yellow color bars? What is yellow color bars? Very good, very good. 26 Sham. Core. Correct. This gray color portion, circular thin disc, all of you can see. Okay, so this is gray color circular thin disc, 0.3 mm to 0.5 mm, like this number of thin plates of cast iron. This rotor core is made up of cast iron in three-phase induction motor. So like this thin plates of 0.3 to 0.5 mm thickness, they manufacture. On both the sides they put varnish, and number of thin plates they stack together. Like this rotor core they found, manufacture. Okay, again same thing, laminated construction. Rotor core, it's not solid, it's a laminated construction to reduce eddy current loss. Okay, now what is this yellow color bars? Now rotor core is slotted on its outer periphery, and in the slots what is there? What is this yellow color bars? Copper bars. So all of you can see these are the copper bars or copper windings. Yes, in squirrel cage rotor, copper windings are used or copper bars are used. Yes, who can tell? Copper bars. Got it? Very good. Roll number 2618. Huh? So here yellow color bars, these are made up of copper. You can use aluminum also, but aluminum if you are using, then size increases. Okay, so these are made up of copper or aluminum. So copper bars. So in squirrel cage induction motor, you will find windings are not there. Copper or aluminum bars are there. Now they are shorted. What is this circular end ring? Circular portion, can everyone see? Bars, these are shorted from both the ends, from right also, from left also, with the help of circular end rings. These are also made up of copper. Clear to everyone? Okay, so if you remove magnetic material, whatever the thing you can see, it looks like a cage of squirrel. That's why it is called as squirrel cage rotor. See, all of you can see here, circular copper end rings made up of same material as that of bars. If bars are made up of copper, then these circular end rings are also made up of copper. Means this complete circuit, if you observe, of rotor, bars and end rings, it is a closed circuit, shorted one. Its resistance is very less. Once EMF get induced in it, current starts to flow because circuit is closed one. Okay, so clear to all of you? This one squirrel cage rotor. Now again here one, this one image, third one image, I think everyone can see. Okay, bottom. So here it's a shaft. Same it is squirrel cage rotor. Fan is wound on it. Then slots you observe, are they parallel to shaft axis or slots are slightly skewed to axis of shaft? Yes, squirrel cage rotor, all of you observe and tell me here, whatever the slots, rotor core is slotted on its outer periphery. In the slots bars are there. Now observe the slots and you tell me these slots are parallel to shaft axis or slightly skewed. What construction you can see here? Yes, who can answer? Slightly skewed. Very good. Roll number 40, Shruti. Okay. So in DC machines, we have seen slots are parallel to axis of shaft. But in squirrel cage rotor, you will find slots are slightly skewed. Now, why slightly skewed slots construction? See here also the same thing, shaft, then end bell. Okay, sorry, not end bell. End rings are there. End bell is from outer side. On rotor, end rings are there made up of copper, same material as that of conductors. So slots, all of you can see, skewed slot, slightly skewed slot, and in that slot, conductors are there. So why slightly skewed slot construction is used here? Also the same thing, that is end ring, shaft, in the slots, bars are there. Okay, so why this same thing, squirrel cage rotor, why it is so? Because if you are using such construction, then whatever the noise produced by motor will be less, means it reduces humming. Why slightly skewed slots are there in three-phase squirrel cage induction motor, its rotor? Because like this construction, if you are using, when you start motor, when motor runs, that time whatever the noise produced by motor will be very less compared to parallel slots. Okay, so reduce humming. Second thing is it avoids or reduce magnetic locking of stator and rotor slots. Okay, so that is magnetic locking of stator and rotor slots. It avoids means what? If motor is running at very high speed, then there is a possibility that its shaft will tilt slightly, and then stator and rotor slots can means magnetic locking will be there of stator and rotor slots can be there. So but if slots are slightly skewed, even if rotor that shaft tilt, slots, magnetic locking will not be there of stator and rotor slots. Okay, and again with this construction, whatever the torque produced by motor is smooth. Okay, means motor runs with smooth speed. That's why slightly skewed slots are used. Clear to all of you, squirrel cage rotor? But if you observe this squirrel cage rotor, once it get designed, its resistance remains constant. Okay, complete circuit is shorted, made up of copper. From both the sides, end rings are there. Resistance is very less. But once you design three-phase squirrel cage induction motor, its resistance remains constant, rotor resistance. If you want to change rotor resistance windings, you can't change. Okay, that is the disadvantage of the squirrel cage rotor. But that is possible with slip ring. Slip ring induction motor, its rotor is so designed, if you want to change rotor resistance, you can add external resistance in another type, in second type. And why there is a need to change the rotor resistance? Because rotor resistance, if you increase, torque produced by motor increases. Okay, so in the applications like crane, elevator, hoist, wherever highest starting torque required, go for slip ring induction motor. Okay, so slip ring induction motor okay, so three-phase induction motor, squirrel cage rotor, its resistance you can't change. That's why it is used in the applications wherever moderate starting torque is required, like lathe machine, drilling machine, fans, blowers, centrifugal pumps. Okay, but what's about another one type, slip ring induction motor? There is a facility that you can change its rotor resistance. How? You can add external resistance in series with each rotor winding, and then rotor resistance increases. If rotor resistance you are increasing, torque produced by motor also increases. So phase wound motor, that is the slip ring motor, it is used to produce highest starting torque, and the earlier one, squirrel cage rotor, is used for to produce medium moderate starting torque. Okay, so these are the applications of both. That is the difference. Now we'll see second type, phase wound rotor. So squirrel cage, is this clear to all of you? Can we go for next? Okay, so second one type, that is the phase wound rotor or slip ring motor. Slip ring type of induction. See, like this is the construction. Now observe, this is the rotor. Observe the rotor. In the slots, bars are there or windings are there? Yes, observe. In the slots, bars are there or windings are there? Yes, what is it in the slots? Second type. It's a windings. Got it? Very good. Okay, Atharva, very good. So, all of you can see in the slots, windings are there. So, 3 windings are there in another type of induction motor. That is the slip ring induction motor, phase wound induction motor it is called. Okay, so you will find stator construction is same. So, in the slots of rotor, you will find 3 windings are there. So these 3 windings are always connected in star, and these windings, suppose on stator windings are wound for 4 pole, then on rotor also these windings, star connected windings, are also wound for 4 pole. Clear to all of you? Okay, if on stator windings are wound for 6 pole, then here windings are wound for 6 pole. Like this is the case. But what occurs in the previous one? In the previous one, if stator is wound for 4 pole winding, then once you start the motor, rotor adjusts itself automatically for 4 poles. Got it? If you design stator there for 6 pole, then rotor automatically adjusts itself for 6 poles. Got it? That is the difference. Now here in second type, that is the phase wound, I told you windings are connected in star. In star means what? One terminal of each winding is connected together. These are the windings which are there on rotor. Okay, these are the rotor. See, centrally it's a shaft. This one is shaft. On the shaft, rotor core is wound. On the rotor core, this is R phase winding with many turns, Y phase winding with same number of turns, and B phase winding also with same number of turns. Got it? All 3 windings, its resistance, inductance same. So all of you can see one terminal of each is connected together, which is called as star point or neutral point. And what's about the rest 3 free terminals? So in earlier one image, whatever this copper rings, all of you can see. See rotor windings. So these are the slip rings. See, this is the copper circular, first one end ring, second one end ring, and the third one end ring. In between these rings, mica is there. Okay, clear to all of you? End rings. So sorry, not end ring, slip ring it is called, slip ring. Okay, so this is the first one slip ring made up of copper, second one slip ring, and third one slip ring. All 3 are made up of copper, and mica is there between them. So this one you can see R phase winding, one R, Y and B, they are connected in star. In star means one terminal of each is connected together, which is called as star point or neutral point. What's about the other terminal? See here, R phase winding, it is connected to first one slip ring. Y phase winding, it's second one terminal, it is connected to second slip ring. And B phase winding, it's second terminal, it is connected to third slip ring. Clear to all of you? So shaft is there. On the shaft, rotor core is there. On the rotor core, these 3 windings are there connected in star. On the same shaft, 3 slip rings are there. This one is the slip ring, which is made up of copper. Second one slip ring and the third one slip ring. Okay, all of you can see all the 3 slip rings. So see here, this one is slip ring, first one, second one, and the third one made up of copper. Now as shaft starts to rotate, rotor core rotate, windings also rotate, then these 3 slip rings also will rotate. Got it? Okay, now we want to once like this design, this rotor windings you can't replace with another one. But what you can do here with slip ring brush arrangement, you can add external resistance. See here, external resistances are there. This one is connected in R phase, this one is Y phase, and this one in B phase. Okay, so external resistance you can add in series with R phase, Y phase, and B phase winding. Okay, now this external resistance is stationary because external resistances, whatever you are going to connect in series with rotor windings, these are stationary. Once this three-phase induction motor starts to rotate, winding shaft and these slip rings will rotate. So how you can connect external stationary resistances with rotating circuit? So for that purpose, slip ring brush arrangement is there. So whatever this brush, all of you can see here. So these brush are stationary. Okay, so resistance are connected to brush. Brush is a stationary part which touches to rotating slip ring. Clear? Okay, brush are made up of which material? Yes, we have seen in DC machines also. Brush are there, made up of which material? Who can tell? Brush are made up of which material? Carbon. Very good. Carbon or graphite. Got it? So carbon or graphite brush are there. So here, now tell me, slip ring and brush arrangement is available in which type of rotor? Squirrel cage or slip ring? Now we'll see the difference. Now I am going to explain you the difference between two types. We are going to see. Question you get asked, that is, write difference between slip ring and squirrel cage induction motor. Now you tell me, slip ring and brush arrangement is used in which type? Slip ring or squirrel cage? Which one type it is used? I think very few are listening the lecture. Okay, so slip ring, very good slip ring. Okay, Abhinav, that slip ring brush arrangement is used in slip ring or phase wound type of three-phase induction motor. Rotating part you connect to stationary part, so due to friction you have to replace carbon brush frequently. Okay, means maintenance where it is more, in squirrel cage maintenance is more or in slip ring maintenance is more? Where? In which rotor maintenance is more? Slip ring. Very good. In slip ring induction motor, maintenance is more. Now you compare the rotor construction. In squirrel cage, bars are there. In slip ring, windings are there. So what do you think? Rotor construction, where, in which type it is simple? In which type rotor construction is simple? In squirrel cage or in slip ring? Yes, in which type rotor construction is simpler? Squirrel cage or slip ring? Very good, squirrel cage. In squirrel cage type of induction motor, rotor construction is simple. Very good. What do you think? In squirrel cage, copper bars are used and here windings are used in slip ring type. So where more copper loss will be there? And in slip ring you can add external resistance also to produce higher starting torque. So where the losses will take place more losses takes place in squirrel cage or in slip ring? In slip ring. Very good. Okay, so as more losses are there in slip ring induction motor, so efficiency of squirrel cage is more or of slip ring is more? In which rotor efficiency is more? Squirrel cage. Very good. Efficiency of squirrel cage rotor is more compared to slip ring. Now efficiency is more of a squirrel cage. Now you will find in industry these whatever the three-phase induction motors used, 95% you will find of squirrel cage and 5% only is of slip ring type. Okay, now here in slip ring type, which one motor produces highest starting torque? Yes, which one motor produces highest starting torque? Slip ring or squirrel cage? Slip ring. Very good, Rohit. Okay, so if you add external resistance in series with rotor resistance, then torque produced by motor increases. So slip ring induction motor is used for to produce highest starting torque, like in elevators, cranes, and that one, another one, squirrel cage. It is used, rotor resistance is fixed. You can't add external resistance in series with rotor. Once rotor get designed, its resistance is fixed. You can't change rotor resistance. That's why squirrel cage rotor is used to produce moderate starting torque. Centrifugal pumps, lathe machines, drilling machine, okay, fans, blowers. So these are the application of squirrel cage three-phase induction motor. Got the difference between two? Okay, clear? Have you got both the construction? Again here the same thing. Three windings are connected in star, and at another end they are connected to circular copper end rings, and two copper brush are touching. Okay, brushes are touching. So this circuit is also closed one. Once EMF get induced in it, current can flow because circuit is closed one. Okay, so clear to all of you up to this? You got the difference between squirrel cage and slip ring type? Yes, everyone got it? Okay, so same points again. Can you see PPT? Everyone can see the slide of difference. Yes, this difference can everyone see? Huh? Read it, whatever the same point we have seen. Till that I'll take attendance. Huh? You read the points. Till that I'm going to take attendance. So see first one, squirrel cage. And same points are there. Rotor construction is simpler in squirrel cage and difficult or complicated in slip ring. So obviously costing of slip ring is more copper it requires. I'm taking attendance, you read points. What's today? Today it's 17th. Your is L division. How many are there? Only 52. Read all points. I'm taking attendance. So rotor construction is simpler in squirrel cage. Less copper is used there. So in squirrel cage, losses less, efficiency more. Rotor construction is less, cost, manufacturing cost is less. In slip ring brush arrangement is there, so that external resistance you can add in series with it. Okay, so that facility is not there in squirrel cage. That's why, see, rotor, then construction complicated, simple, resistance, you can add external resistance in slip ring. That is not possible in squirrel cage. Starters not there in your syllabus. So you can say again rotor resistance starters, that is possible with slip ring, and it is not possible with squirrel cage. Changing rotor resistance, you can change spade also. So that is possible with slip ring. Okay, we have seen torque produced by slip ring motor is more, and of squirrel cage it is less. Okay, see next one, brush, slip ring brush arrangement is there in slip ring, it is not there in squirrel cage. So maintenance will be there in slip ring, less maintenance in squirrel cage. Copper loss will be more in slip ring because windings are there, external resistance you add to produce higher starting torque. So copper losses more, and that's why efficiency less. But in squirrel cage, as bars are there, external resistance you can't add, so losses will be less. Its efficiency is more, as you can change rotor resistance, so speed control is possible for slip ring, but it is not possible for squirrel cage. Means changing rotor resistance, that one speed control method not possible with squirrel cage. Okay, power factor is low of slip ring, and of squirrel cage is high. Slip ring is costly, another one is cheap. Starting current also we have seen that the starting current is low for slip ring and it is high. Then applications, hoist, crane, elevator, and for another one it's lathe machine, fans, blower. Okay, clear difference? Everyone got the difference? Okay, now we'll see its this one PDF. Okay. Can you see another PDF? Handwritten? Yes. Everyone can see another PDF? Okay. Can you see PDF? Okay. So see here, next we'll see working principle, mean how it converts electrical input into mechanical output. Now, just now we have seen, I told you at the start that it's a three-phase induction motor. So it converts 3-phase AC electrical input into mechanical output. Whenever we say we give 3-phase AC electrical input to motor, means what do you think, where exactly we give it to? Its stator winding or rotor winding? Where we give? Who can tell? Yes. Whenever I say I give 3-phase AC electrical input to induction motor, so where it is given? To its stator winding or to its rotor winding? What do you think? In the terminal box 6, stator. Very good. Roll number 25. Okay. So see, all of you, 3-phase AC supply we give to 3-phase induction motor. Where exactly we give it to its 3 stator winding. They are connected either in star or in delta. Consider they are connected in star. So you know this is R phase winding, another one is Y phase winding, and next one is B phase winding. Okay. So whatever the R to R, Y to Y, and B to B is connected. Consider karo. 3 phase of AC supply also 3 terminals R, Y, B, and 3 windings also which are connected in star. That are also 3 phases will mark. This one is R phase, another one is Y phase, and the third one is B phase. Got it? Means connection is like this: R to R, Y to Y, and B to B. So 3-phase AC supply connected to symmetric 3-phase star connected winding. This one circuit we have seen in 4th unit. Okay, so we know all the parameters: line current, phase current, line voltage, phase voltage. Now is circuit closed one? Yes. Will current flow through stator winding? Once you switch on 3-phase AC supply and R to R, Y to Y, and B to B, if you connect 3-phase AC supply, we give to 3 stator winding. 3 stator winding, R phase, Y phase, and B phase. Consider they are connected in star. Now R to R, Y to Y, and B to B you are connecting. Now tell me, is the circuit closed one of stator size? Will current flow through stator winding or not? Yes, will current flow through stator winding or not? This is R phase, Y phase, and B phase. Yes, who can tell, will current flow through stator winding or not? Current will flow through stator winding because circuit is closed one. Now if you are passing current through conductor, it produces magnetic field. If you are passing AC current, it produces changing magnetic field. If you are passing DC current, it produces stationary magnetic field. Now you are passing here AC current through 3 windings which are either star connected or delta connected. So what will occur? What it produces? Yes, will it produce magnetic field in air gap? Will it produce magnetic field in air gap? It produces magnetic field in the air gap. Okay, now whatever the magnetic field produced in air gap, it rotates at one particular speed, because you are using here 3 windings and 3 phase AC supply you are applying across it. So whenever you pass current through 3 windings, it produces around 8 rotating magnetic field. So in the that stator core inside machine, it will produce rotating magnetic field, and at what speed it rotates? Ns is equals to 120 F by P. Ns is called as synchronous speed. It's the speed of what? Rotating magnetic field produced by stator windings. Means it depends on supply frequency, and it depends on number of poles of stator. Consider frequency is 50 Hertz and number of poles 4 are there. So you will get synchronous speed 1500 RPM. Means if machine is designed for 4 poles on stator, so whatever is the rotating magnetic field produced by stator winding inside a machine, it will rotate at speed 1500 RPM, that is 1500 revolutions per minute. Means this speed of rotating magnetic field, it depends on supply frequency and poles on stator. You go on increasing frequency, synchronous speed increases. You go on decreasing number of poles, speed will more. Inversely proportional to stator poles and directly proportional to supply frequency. Okay, consider this. This is about its magnitude, 1500 RPM. Consider. Now, what's about its direction? So its direction, it has one particular direction also, and that is always from leading phase to lagging phase. Whenever we say this is the R phase winding, Y phase winding, and B phase winding, and if I say phase sequence is RYB, what does it mean? Which one phase leads which phase? R leads Y or Y leads R? R leads Y or Y leads I? Yes, who can tell? R leads Y or Y leads R? Yes, who can tell? Okay, so whenever we say it's a R phase sequence is RYB means R leads Y. So direction of rotation of this rotating magnetic field is always from leading phase to lagging phase. So if windings are designed like R phase leading to Y, Y phase leading to B. So from R to Y and Y to B, like this will be the direction of rotation. Now consider the windings are so designed that magnetic field produced rotates in clockwise direction. Okay, now this rotating magnetic field is coming. Now this is rotating in clockwise direction, means its direction depends always on leading to lagging. Now if I want to rotate it in anti-clockwise direction, means what you will do? If you wanted to rotate it in anti-clockwise direction, what you will do? Who can tell? Yes, if you want to rotate it in anti-clockwise direction, what you reverse the terminus. Very good. All three you will reverse or any two? Very good. Roll number 25. You are listening and you are answering. Very good. Okay, so if any two, very good. 26. Okay, so any two terminals you swap, means either RY, means R to R, Y to Y and B to B we have done. So any two you swap either RY or YB or BR. So what will happen? This direction of rotation of rotating magnetic field will be reversed. Clear? Okay, so consider that rotating magnetic field, it is rotating in clockwise direction. Now what's about rotor? Is it stationary right now? Yes. What's about rotor? It is stationary. So rotating magnetic field is coming in contact with stationary rotor. What happens? Who can tell? Rotating magnetic field produced by three-phase stator winding is coming in contact with stationary rotor. It is rotating in clockwise direction at speed 1500 rpm and it is coming in contact with stationary rotor. Any rotor you can consider, squirrel cage or slip ring. Consider squirrel cage. Okay, so as per Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, what will happen? EMF will get induced in the rotor. Till this moment rotor is stationary. Current starts to flow through because circuit is closed once, so current starts to flow through rotor windings. Now it is a case like current carrying rotor conductors you are going to put in a magnetic field which is produced by stator. What happens? Yes, current carrying conductor, whenever you put in a magnetic field, same as that of DC motor, what occurs? Yes, current carrying conductor you put in a magnetic field, what it produces? Force act on each and every conductor, force into radius, torque is produced, and the windings are so designed that whatever the torque acting on it, because of it rotor will rotate in one particular direction. Now tell me, this rotor is rotating means can we say electrical input is converting into mechanical output? Okay, clear working principle means it works on which principle? Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, now tell me, this speed is rotor is rotating because of torque because of force because of current is because of induced EMF in rotor. Now this induced EMF is because of this rotating magnetic field. So as per Lenz's law, this speed which is because of ns, so direction of rotation of rotating magnetic field and speed of rotor will be in, means n, speed of rotor is n, speed of rotating magnetic field is ns. So rotating magnetic field, if it rotates in clockwise direction, as per Lenz's law, rotor will oppose the cause producing it. So it will also rotate in same direction or it will rotate in opposite direction. It opposes the cause producing it. So it will rotate in same direction. Consider this speed is 1500 rpm, this one 1500 rpm and this is 1200 rpm. N is always less than ns. Why n is always less than ns? Due to rotor inertia. Rotor has always inertia, so because of it you will find n is always less than ns. So 1500 rpm and this is 1200 rpm. So when relative speed difference, as per Lenz's law, it will oppose the cause producing it, means in which direction it will rotate, so that the relative speed difference will be less. Now when both the are rotating in same direction, then relative speed difference will be less, or when both are rotating in opposite direction with each other, then relative speed difference will be less. So when both are rotating in same direction, 1500 rpm and 1200 rpm, both are rotating in same direction, then only relative speed difference will be less. So as per Lenz's law, what occurs, whatever is the direction of rotation of rotating magnetic field, if it is clockwise, then rotor also will rotate in the same direction, that is clockwise. Clear to all of you? Okay, so now both are rotating in same direction, this you keep in your mind. Okay, so I want to reverse n, means what, ns you have to reverse. And how we can reverse ns? Just now we have seen R2i, Y2i and B2B we have connected. Any two terminals you swap, any two terminals if you swap, ns, its direction of rotation will change, and direction of rotation of rotor also will change. Okay, so ns is equals to 120 f by p, and this speed of rotor is denoted as n. Clear to all of you? Induction motor, it works on same principle as that of transformer. Only in transformer, primary and secondary both are stationary, but in this three-phase induction motor, you can consider stator winding as primary and rotor winding as secondary. But once EMF get induced in rotor winding, current starts to flow, it starts to rotate. Okay, clear? So we are going to finish here. L2 batch, immediately join. I'll take your meeting. Just 5-10 minutes. Okay, not much time I'll take. I am going to disconnect this lecture. L2 batch students, join the same link again.